Well, hey, everybody, this is Mike Griffith on the Eagles on the Beat show, and tonight we've got a special treat for you. Let's roll right into it. Well, hey, everybody, Mike Griffith here. Welcome to Dog Nation's On the Beat presentation, and something really special. You know, Coach Tom Crean joined us a few weeks ago, went a full hour, and it went so well that he said, you know what, can we do that with some of our newer players? And, of course, Georgia basketball fans can't wait. A single-season attendance record set last year. Some really talented guys coming back, and some very experienced, accomplished players coming in. And so tonight we're going to meet them. Justin Kier is going to join us. Justin is from George Mason. You can see Justin wearing the red top. We have P.J. Horn, the Virginia Tech transfer. He's wearing a green top. And then Andrew Garcia from Stony Brook, and he's wearing blue. And we're going to talk to these guys, maybe get a feel for who they are as much as what they are here on tonight's Dog Nation Plan, brought to you by Ingles. So, guys, I want to ask you a question, and I guess we'll start with you, Justin. I want to know, when did you know you were going to choose Georgia? Because you had some options coming out of George Mason last year.
For sure. No, I knew I was going to pick Georgia. I think the second week going into my decision, the second week before my decision, just because as soon as me and Coach Crean talked, I felt comfortable. We had great conversations, and honestly, we didn't really talk about basketball at first. We just talked about life and, my history and what's going on with my family, and we talked about how his family was, and that was the family feeling I loved. So our first phone call, I fell in love with, our conversations, and we continued to talk, and then I got to talk to the most of the other staff, and we just clicked right in there, and I fell in love with it and decided to go.
Now, last year, I think you missed the first 6 games with a stress fracture in your foot. That's a tricky injury. How are you doing health-wise right now coming into Georgia?
Doing real good. I am not getting as much rehab as I would at school, but I am cleared. I've been working out and getting a little hoop action in too, and it feels good. No soreness or anything. We've brought reports back from my trainer, athletic trainer at Mason, to UGA, and I'm sure we'll get it looked at once I get down there as well. But right now it feels really good, I'm just excited to get back to 100%.
Yeah, it's exciting. The Georgia basketball players, they'll kind of come in waves. It's not like football where everybody gets back at a time, but I think July 20th is the date to kind of circle when they begin their workouts, and that's when Coach Crean will start putting this puzzle together with all these great pieces. And, one of the bigger pieces is going to be in the middle. It's P.J. Horn. He's the transfer from Virginia Tech. When Rayshawn Hammonds decided to go pro after his junior year, it was pretty obvious that Georgia needed to find a big body. And P.J. is a guy that I think Georgia fans, they may remember. He won a couple state championships at Tift County. And P.J., first of all, before I ask you when you knew it was going to be Georgia, I want to know why it wasn't Georgia the first time. How'd you get out of this state and up there to Blacksburg to play Virginia Tech?
Just the atmosphere I was in at the time. Going up there, playing for Buzz Williams. It fit what I wanted to do. So I went up there. I had a great time there, and I'm just glad to be back home. I'm glad.
When did you know you were coming home? I know there were a lot of opportunities for you after last year. You averaged 7.5 points, 4.2 rebounds, a big body, and now you can shoot the 3 too. So when did you know that it was going to be Georgia?
Similar to Jason's answer, just when I got off the phone with Coach Crean, I talked it over with my mom, and she gave me like this speech on how coming home, she'll be able to see me play more, and like just being able to have more people that knows of you at the school. So that's when I knew like that was the perfect spot for me.
Yeah, well, I know Georgia fans are excited. You're coming back home, coming back into the state of Georgia, and obviously going to play a very key, important role. Andrew Garcia, Andrew was kind of to me, a bit of a wild card. He said, Coach Crean said he was going to find some talent, and coming out of Stony Brook, 6'5", 228 guard. I mean, he's a big-bodied guy here. I mean, he might be a linebacker if things don't work out on the basketball floor. Andrew, when did you know that Georgia was going to be the place for you? Because as you said, I don't think you've been down here yet, kind of seeing what you're getting into, huh?
Yeah. So it was a tough process. I got into the portal maybe I think a week and a half prior to me committing to Georgia. So it was probably like a week and a half. I knew Coach Linehan previously because he was at Hartford, and my sister actually played at Hartford, so they kind of had that relationship. So when I put my name in the portal, he reached out to me, and I kind of felt like that good relationship, like I knew him, but I didn't know him, but I knew him. But when I got that phone call from Crean and we started talking, I mean, endlessly, I just felt like he was so invested into just watching my phone, getting to know me, breaking down, like footwork, like watching stuff when he could be doing other stuff, especially in this time, especially during this virus, and it's a lot. And I felt like he took his time to continuously call me almost every single day. And his demeanor, the way he approaches every situation is such in a way where you can relate to him, or he's approachable. So I felt the way he was expressing, basketball wise, but as a man, as kind of like what I want to do for my future in terms of education and after basketball, he was very enthusiastic about that. And I just felt like that was the head coach for me. He understood work, he understood what we're trying to accomplish on the basketball court and my goals. And they just like once stuff is on par for me, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, he's recruited some pretty good guys. What about the portal? You hear the portal, the NCAA portal. When your name's in the portal, I mean, it obviously doesn't, like, it's not a physical thing, but is it kind of weird? Is there an experience to being in the portal? Does the phone start lighting up? Do the text message? What's the experience of going in the portal for a student athlete?
Y'all got it. Go ahead.
I'll go for. I've never ever done it, and I didn't even know how to put my name in the portal, to be honest. It was tough. That whole entire like transition process, because I love Stony Brook. I love my coaches, and I had to have those conversations. And then once you put your name in the portal, it's like it's free roam. Everybody just starts emailing you, texting you, calling you, and you just gotta just keep. It's like constant phone calls, constant Zoom calls, constant. So it was like it was difficult. It was difficult for sure.
What do you think, Justin? What the portal? When you hear portal, your thoughts on the portal?
Yeah. No, it was probably the most stressful part of my life, honestly, just because, like he said, I didn't know how to put my name in there. I didn't know how anyone would get my number, all that kind of stuff. And the phone just got to ringing every day, 6 or 7 times. You don't know who's calling. You look at the area code. Oh, it's someone from Florida. No, they're in California. Like all that different stuff. So it's just real stressful. And, you try to go about your day and you got stuff you got to do, in life as well. So you just kind of go through all that and you'll be in the middle of the grocery store and you'll get a call and you have to take it, So it was just stressful. But again, it was a blessing as well because I went through my process as mature as possible. I wanted to hear everybody out. I listened to every single phone call. I talked to every whoever called me. I talked to, and I'd be straight up with them. If I wasn't interested, I'd let them know after the call, just out of respect of they found interest in me. So that was the biggest part of me, was just giving everybody a chance. Being respectful, because if I was a coach and I was recruiting, I would want somebody to answer my call as well. So it was just stressful, but we came to a conclusion, and I'm excited about it.
PJ, you told us your mom talked to you. Was she the portal? Did they have to go through her to get to you, or when you made your decision? I mean, was there a lot of interaction with other schools, or was it mom letting you know where she thought you ought to go?
It was honestly all her, but I had a lot of like tweaks and things to it because once the phone started ringing and the chaos started, we was going through a lot of things with my family. So I hear some bad news, then I get a call, and then it's like, well, I have to be mature enough to answer this call and talk while I've just heard this bad news. So it's just a lot of back and forth situations going on. So I had to kind of like just get used to doing it for the time being because it was very stressful, but I had to do it. It's something you have to do to get through the process.
Yeah, and it's one chance. You got one chance. You got 1 year. It's a very important decision. You've all got good film. You've all got good background. You all come highly recommended. But this is the launch point, and there's no do-overs here. So I can understand the amount of stress that you're feeling as you try to decide what's best for me. It's not like the first go-round, coming out of high school where if things don't work out, you got a little margin there's no margin for error here. So this was a very important decision. I know Georgia very excited to have you now. Coach Crean is a guy, and we joked with him a little bit. Actually, the fans joked with him a little bit. They said, how many miles a game do you walk, Coach? If you've ever watched a Georgia game, he paces up and down the sideline. I think he's actually measured it before. He put it between 2 and 3 miles a game. As you guys mentioned, when you talk with Coach Crean, he's very precise. He's a guy who's straight to the point. His offense run the same way. I can already tell you that spacing is a backbreaker. The guys all talk about it. Those are the things that I've noticed and that fans noticed. But you guys had a chance to talk with Coach Crean as well as other coaches. And, PJ, I'll start with you. I'll stay on you here. What do you think sets Coach Crean apart? Obviously, you played for Buzz, and he's a very well-known coach at A&M. You'll get a chance to play him. But when you look at Tom Crean and you talk with Tom Crean, what do you think sets him apart, makes him a little different or unique in his own way?
I believe he pays attention to every detail, everything you do and everything you say. It can be used as an advantage or a disadvantage, depending on what you're saying. But he also believes, he has a real belief that he can progress you to something else. He feels like he can help you in life. So I think that's what separates him as a head coach.
Andrew, you when you were talking about Coach Crean a little bit earlier, you kind of sound like you were waiting for him to check the boxes. I don't know if you had a list, but you said he mentioned all the things that I was looking for. Beyond him meeting your needs and the University of Georgia meeting your needs, Andrew, what were some things about Coach Crean, some personality traits that made you think, you know what, I can play for this guy?
I'll definitely say he wanted to FaceTime. I just felt like out of everybody, it takes a lot just to FaceTime a random stranger, and when he FaceTimed me, you could just tell he's happy, he's enthusiastic, like that energy. I love positive energy. I will always want positive energy around me. And just to piggyback off PJ was saying, the attention to detail, he was kind of I knew my stuff I needed to work on, and I'm a kind of a harsh critic on myself. And he was kind of even going further, talking about my foot where I could be a better defender. If I chop my feet, if I close out a certain type of way, if I have my hand up, earlier, or maybe a couple or a feet or a couple inches before it, I can get that steal, or he won't get by me. And it was stuff like that. And not just kind of tell me what I want to hear. He kept on his persistence, for what he wants to do and what he can see out of you. What PJ was saying, I just felt that from from all my coaches and everybody who was speaking to me. I just felt that type of detail, that type of commitment, and he loves his team. He loves every single player, 100%. And it's that vibe, you can't miss that. You can't miss an opportunity like that. And I just felt in terms of that checklist, I had my pros and cons and what I want to hear basketball wise, but he was just bringing the other aspects of life. What are you studying? What do you want to, be? If we didn't play basketball, what's your outlet? What kind of job are you trying to get? Cause it stops bouncing eventually. And that was a lot of our conversation. Like Justin was saying, that's big to talk about, or him wanting to know kind of more about the player instead of talking about basketball. So.
Yeah. Justin, a couple of years ago, you were the Atlantic 10's most improved player. So obviously you're a guy that's worked a lot on your game while you were at George Mason. And your thoughts about Coach Crean? You were on board kind of early. What were the things about Coach Crean that made you say, you know what, in addition to the University of Georgia and the school and all that, What did you like about Coach Crean? Made him unique from other coaches?
No, I gotta agree with both Andrew and PJ because the detail is what shocked me. When we first called and we talked and we had our first conversation, the second one was a FaceTime, and we broke down film for probably an hour, maybe a little bit less. But he was just telling me when we were on Zoom, like I had, my high school coach and, mentor / uncle, Marcus Davis, and we were just breaking down what I can improve on. And I mean, it was to the point where like my feet set on my 3-point shot. Like, and I loved it though, because that's stuff that I always wanted to improve on. And I knew I had to improve on, and not just, all aspects of my game, but just like the little things that he knew. And he has a past on great guards as well, with people he's worked with that have improved. And you've seen guys who I guess weren't as, highly ranked, just like me. So seeing him, he has the history of turning, great guards and great teams and just improving individually. And when he broke that down, I was like, if you can break that down with an individual and help my game, and then you can help everybody else, like, I'm just excited, man. I'm excited to get down and meet the guys and start, get it rolling.
I'm picking up on a trend here, guys. All of you've talked about self-improvement, self-critique. I mean, I'm sitting here talking with 3 hungry basketball players, and I don't know if you know this or not, but I think Georgia collectively shot 30% from 3 last year and still was 16-16. And I think Coach Crean said it best. They hit 35 or 34% from 3. This is an NCAA tournament team last season. That's how close it is for Georgia to get over that hump. And now I'm starting to really understand and see why Coach Crean's bringing you to the University of Georgia. But before you get here, you all have passed. You all have had great careers to get you to this launch point, as I said a little bit earlier. PJ, let me start with you. Tell me something about Virginia Tech basketball that maybe people wouldn't know or understand. Is there something special about the arena? Is there a crazy fight song? Is there something about a tradition there, or something about Virginia Tech? If you can't think of anything, then please tell us what the heck a Hokie is. It's something. Give me something fresh on Virginia Tech that I don't know.
I start off with the tradition of Virginia Tech and the Sandman. It's like one of the biggest traditions of school history. Once you hear the song, you're in the atmosphere of the game. The crowd is just like, it's noise canceling. Like you don't hear anything but the crowd. You don't hear you don't hear the coach. You see the coach. So like you hear like him mouthing, but you don't hear him saying anything. Even in the huddles, you don't hear him. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I'll probably say about Tech. And as far as a Hokie, I've been asking that question since I was a freshman. Honestly, I just know that it is a bird, and it's more like a I can't explain it. It's like it's not a turkey, but it's like very, very close to one. So, yeah.
All right, Andrew, I'm not letting you off the hook here. Stony Brook, I'll be honest. I've covered college sports for 30 years, and I'm sure at some point in NCAA I might have played. Let's start with you. Your nickname here. Y'all laughing about the Hokies. I mean, is there such a thing as a sea? What is your mascot? A sea wolf? Yeah. I mean, that's like some dog swimming in the. I mean, what is a sea wolf? Tell me about Stony Brook. Enlighten me as to this place you're coming from to get down here to Georgia.
So in terms of the mascot, is definitely mythical. I'm assuming. I'm pretty sure it's a wolf. They've changed the logo over the years. Like from my knowledge, I knew it was like a wolf with some like half of a body and like just the fur, I guess. But then now it's just the wolf face, but it's a sea wolf. I don't know. I guess because Long Island is right next to the water, so maybe the sea, and then I don't know why they
half person. That just sounds like a nightmare to me. It sounds pretty frightening. I hope they didn't probably scare the little kids at the game. But what does the campus look like? Where is it at? Yeah. What's the feel there at Stony Brook?
Right. So Stony Brook is right next to Port Jeff Harbor, and like the way you could think of Stony Brook as like a huge like community. Like, I mean, it's outside the campus. Campus is pretty big as well. It's like 25,000. with like grad and undergrad hospitals right there. But just like the environment, like you can go down to the beach, like everybody knows each other. And everybody's nice. You feel welcome. I mean, in terms of coaching staff, great coaching staff, Coach Ford, Coach Bowles, Sean, the AD, like I can personally like name so many more. And that's just because everybody's so approachable and everybody cares. And you get that type of like relationship. So it's like a close knit family in a way. I was at Stony Brook.
Yeah, sounds like you're leaving some pretty special people behind, and I'm sure they're going to be rooting for the best for you down at University of Georgia. And now we go to Justin. We asked him about George Mason. It's not like on a map. You can't Google George Mason. I mean, it's a person's name near DC. Tell me something about George Mason, Justin, that we may not know about your school. I had a former boss that was a professor there, and he spoke very well of it academically. But beyond that, tell me about George Mason.
I love the school. That's the reason why I went. All aspects of it. I'll start with basketball. I don't think I've had better relationships with the coaching staff and players. And I think that's why I fell in love with, and it was so hard to leave, is because the relationships I had with the coaching staff, every single one, all the way down to, even the janitors in our arena, I'm talking. Like, that's how, our relationships were fun. I'd go in there and we'd joke around with the janitors when we go hoop. Like, it was just, that's how close our family was. And that is outside of basketball. So when you start competing with each other and you have the fights in practice that, get out of hand and you have to regroup. But after, you get back and you're that family and we all go eat and all that kind of stuff. It was just the family vibe I had there, on top of being able to, compete and play. And that's just the part that I fell in love with. And the community was great. And I have relationships now that I can always, after I'm done playing basketball, I know for a fact I can go right back to that area and talk to people, and they'll keep me in contact with jobs. And yeah, it was just everything about it. I loved. There was nothing bad about where I was at. I loved the basketball program. I loved the area, the people. And as you know, DC was 20 minutes away as well. So you got the countryside of it, and then you can go into the city. And it was just a lot. It was a lot. You could go to different places. And it was probably the best time of my life. Really hard to leave. They know that. But, different things change. And, I believe God puts you in the right plan to go where you should in the future. So it took a lot of thought. But like I said, I'm excited to be here. But they will always have a special place in my heart for sure.
Got an open form question. I need you guys to jump in on this one. Georgia last year had a guy that I think everybody expects to be the number one pick in the draft, Anthony Ant-Man Edwards. And, of course, they got Severe Wheeler coming back. So I want to throw that out there. Tell me what you know, if you've talked to either of these guys, your thoughts on these guys about Ant-Man or Severe Wheeler. And whoever wants to jump in first, give me some feedback on those two special Georgia players from last year.
I'll start. First off, we definitely know he's going to be the number one draft pick. But, no, I just like this game. I like this game, and I know the staff really worked with him as well, because you could tell individually he was in the gym for sure. You could tell individually, his moves and, his dribble combos and, kind of his finishing. You can just tell he's really worked. He's really worked, and he's natural. He's just good. He's just, and then Severe, that's my guy. He was the first one I actually reached out to after I committed. And it was like we were best friends, because we literally started talking about getting an apartment together, and then Andrew came in, and PJ came a little later, because I'm sure he would have been with us for sure. But it clicked right away. I called Andrew, I think, on FaceTime. As he says, he's never, I called him on FaceTime because that's how I do. I just FaceTime everybody. So we talked, and we got we talked about what we were gonna do, and kind of built that relationship early. So.
Yeah. See, now that's a basketball. Remember I was telling you the difference between football players, their phones are smashed. They drop it, or they punch somebody, or somebody, they play rough in the hall. You guys, you got the FaceTime going there. Basketball guys, they're always looking good because they play and they don't have a helmet. They always, the uniforms are always, so just big difference between basketball and football. Andrew, you had any exchanges or any observations on Ant-Man and Severe?
Well, I never spoke to Ant, but I spoke to Severe too. So my AU coach knew Severe's father, so it was they kind of knew. So that's how I met Severe.
Yeah, their family's from Harlem. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So and then I mean he moved over to Houston. I'm not sure when he did, but he was up here. But then Severe, he's a great guy. I mean, he came. He even watched my film. He was like, "Man, I love your game." Like when I heard that, like as a like you talk about basketball, you talk about people who love the game. Like that's different. It's not. I can't say a lot of people would just watch film, you know, on a random person or even a teammate. A lot of times we just meet them the first day and then you kind of go on from there. But like you know what I'm saying, Justin and Severe kind of just made it so easy for me. Like I just did whatever they asked, kind of like. They got the apartment. I even played like 2K with Severe. Like I mean, I played a couple games with him on the.
Who won?
Nah, we played together. We played together. But,
oh, okay.
I ain't trying to start no beef, but but yeah, I mean, he's an awesome dude. I feel like his commitment to the game, his commitment to getting better, is what's going to set him apart. And he's an amazing point guard. I watched a lot of games on him. And I'm excited. I'm excited to be, saying both the roommates, have them ready. But I feel like he's a good guy, and I had a good conversation.
Yeah, that Severe charisma is real, guys. I got to tell you, you know, Georgia, like everybody else in the league, everybody in college basketball has their tough losses, and there were 2 or 3 times I was ready to bury this team. I said, oh, they can't come back from that. Oh, they really can't come back from that. And they finished playing their best basketball of the year. Absolutely would have beaten Florida the next day before this COVID shutdown. And it had a lot – that resiliency, and you guys know this from being veterans, has a lot to do with the character and the personalities of the team. And I absolutely believe that Severe Wheeler was the glue guy that kept everybody going after those tough wins, because I've yet to see him have a bad day. Now, PJ, I'm going to ask you, because these guys are all guards. They're all sharing the board. I think everybody's waiting for you to come in here and tear down rims and knock people out of the lane. If you had a chance – to talk with Severe, did you watch Ant-Man or where are you coming from as far as, you know, knowing these guys and having some background with Ant or Severe?
I haven't got to speak with them yet, but I've watched Ant-Man play while we was in Maui. And I think we was up next, actually. He was playing and my coach, he was talking like, me get ready for the game, but we were actually just watching the game. Getting ready to play, so he did not disappoint. Like he put on the show now.
Yeah,
so we just sat there and watched that, and I feel like Severe, his credentials screams. You know, that what he did for the program, what he's gonna do for the program is gonna be good for us. You know, we all want to win, so that's the goal right now. You know, if we can do the win, we got to do it.
Pete, I'm just going to tell you now, one of the ingredients, and even Nick Claxton, Nick was long and blocking shots, but Georgia hasn't had that rim defender that made people think twice about I got to ask you about your ability to protect the rim, your ability to play in the paint. I know you're going to step out there and shoot them threes, but how big of a part of the game is that for you? And this nice guy, this nice soft-spoken guy that you're giving us today, does that change once you get between the lines? Because it gets pretty physical, I would think.
Yes, it definitely changes in the lines. Nothing stays the same between the lines, honestly. But it's all about heart, man. Like, I always been seen as the underdog. You know, I'm a small post man, but as far as I know, I want to win, and I want to win probably more than anybody that I'm playing against. So to have that mindset and to have the tradition I have coming out of high school with my coach, his name is Coach Wade, but he also taught us how to like defend before we score. So everything was all about defense. Like, we had practices where we didn't touch the ball, we just need to stop them. Like, so that kind of was like driven into me, where I have to figure out how to get stops and how to maneuver, how to think a couple plays ahead, how to think like 2 steps before other people think. Because as a smaller post guy, you have to. You can't be caught on the same level because you're gonna get buried. So
I second that. I've witnessed it, so he's not lying. I've watched him play. I second that, so he's not lying.
Nothing's going to come easy at the Steg this year, you know. That's big, because that's what that was an element, quite frankly, that was missing for Georgia. I know we talked about that shooting percentage, the team shooting percentage being 30% from three. If it's 35, they're an NCAA team. That rim defense, and now you're talking about a contender. So there's a lot of excitement building about Georgia. Before I let you guys go, I want to. You know, I know it's tough to brag on yourself, but I want to know the best game you ever played. I mean, I've got my hoop, even though I wasn't a basketball player. I played in a pickup game down at Augusta National against some other sports writers, and that day they all thought I was so good. I won't ever forget it. Everybody else has, but I won't. What was your best basketball game? And Justin, I'll start with you. When you look back on your basketball career at any level, what's the game that you keep there in your mind and hold near and dear?
To be honest, I don't like going back to high school because I feel like it was easy for everybody. So if you had you know what I'm saying, the best games wasn't really your best game. But in college, I always, showed up in the conference tournament. Not I always showed up, but I always, had a little better, my best games were our last games. The last games in the conference tournaments, just because, it was win or go home. So you were going all out. And my best games it wasn't just scoring, it was all aspects of it, rebounding, assists, getting defensive stops, taking that man-to-man matchup and taking it to heart, as Mason, I always guarded our best player majority of the time. So whenever, I'd see their best player, I took that as a challenge. So yeah, I had really good games. I'd say one of my best ones was against Vermont. I think I scored 33 in a regular season game. But other than that, I just loved the win or go home games because I feel like those were like, the playoffs and finals and all that kind of stuff too. So
that's awesome. PJ, you got those 2 state titles at Tift County. I'm not going to let you go back to those, man. We all know about them already. Everybody in Georgia already knows what you did here because you broke their hearts when you went to Virginia Tech. What was your best game at Tech when you reflect back on your time at Blacksburg?
Best game at Tech, I would say this past season, I want to say Clemson at home. We played Clemson at home, and I had a full out, all around good game. I really don't count good games unless we win. So if I had 30 and we lost, then I don't think it's a good game. We lost. But if I have 18 and whatever 8, 10 it's a great game to be winning. So like I feel like that Clemson game was like a good game. It was also at the end of the season. I feel like just all around everything was just going my way.
That's good stuff. Now, how about you, Andrew? You're up now. You've had some time to think about this.
Yeah,
being a guy from New York, maybe it's from me. Now I'm going to let you go back because the New York is legendary. So when was your best game?
Well, so you want me to keep it college or?
That's what I said. I'm leaving it wide open for you because there's some background there now. There's some awesome games. I mean, we're talking about a different level there.
Yeah, fact.
It really is.
Let's see. I guess I would say college. I'll bring the college. I want to say, and it's funny. Like it's probably not my best game, but I think it was probably this game. Like, and it's funny that how Justin was like his regular season was against Vermont. Like at Stony Brook, the past 4 years, we've never beaten Vermont at one time. And
we didn't beat them. That's why I ain't say we beat them. That's why I didn't want to bring it up. I had 33, like PJ said. That 33 don't mean nothing because we lost. So.
I had 20-point games, but like the way like that game meant just for like me, my teammates, my coaching staff, just all of Stony Brook, like AD, like it's always been a rivalry, between us. And could never get over that hump. And it was a regular season game, and we played them again. We did lose during the conference season, and we had a lot of injuries and stuff like that. But we won that game, and our whole team, it was just it felt like we won the championship. I ain't gonna lie, even if it was a regular season, because it just meant that much. And a lot of my teammates hit clutch shots. Like I just felt like we was locked in, and we just came off. It was a road trip. We went to Maine, and we won. And then we drove straight to Vermont. Had a 1 day prep, get ready, and was like, you know what, just leave everything on the floor. That's what coach said, have fun. And now I can say that was the funniest.
He froze up there. He froze up on me there. So I guess I will ask one more question. What do you look forward to most about Georgia? And PJ, you've been here. You might start off. What do you like about Athens? Because you've been on this campus a little bit. And I know the other guys might just be looking at pictures or hearing from the recruiter or Coach Crean or other players what they're going to like. But I'll start with you, PJ. As somebody who's been on this campus and been here often, what do you like most about Georgia? What do you look forward to seeing, being around?
I feel like Georgia's like a big family. You walk around and you have a G on your chest. You walk around, people just go Dogs. You might not know the person, you might not ever see them again, but they know that you're a dog. No matter where you go in Georgia, you can come where I'm at. You can come down the tip and go walk around with a Georgia shirt on. Go Dogs! Like it's just everything is go Dogs. So that's what I feel most about Georgia. I look forward to being there and connecting with people, and being able to transition to a better person, a better man, a better player. Yeah.
How about you, Andrew? Any thoughts on Georgia? Some things that jump out maybe when you look at the school, when you look at the pictures, the environment that you're going to be in, something you're interested to see?
It's very beautiful. I mean, it's like, going down to the south, I feel like it's more spacious and that type of aspect. In the city, everything is cluttered. But Stony Brook was in a rural area, but I'm a big workout junkie. I love like Coach Green back at Stony. You know what I'm saying? We used to go crazy in the gym, and I talked to Coach Hayes, had a couple conversations with him, and I saw, and you see the facilities, so I just get excited. See that weight room, see what we can do in there. The facilities, the access. I'm excited just to get better, and obviously, when I get down there, I can see what I'm saying, that family aspect. What PJ was saying, I'm excited for that as well. But I'm ready to work. I'm excited. I'm trying to get out of New York.
Right. How about you, Justin? How much have you studied the campus or the town, the sites, thoughts, what you hear about Athens and what you look forward to?
Yeah, everything, through Zoom, to be honest. I haven't been down there at all. I've seen everything virtually. But like he said, I've seen the facilities and stuff like that. That's what I was most about because, as a grad student, we got 1 year and our goal is to win. We've been to a college, we've done the, everything, the campus life and all that kind of stuff. We've all done it. But I think we have a little more chip on our shoulder because we have 1 year. So we're trying to win. That's mine. I'm sure that's everybody else's as well. But that's my main goal. So, I just really invested in what the basketball aspect was. What's, where we're going to be lifting at, what type of workouts we'll have. Because, that's what but I'm also excited just to get to know everybody and have our fun. I'm sure we'll go to some football games and if that ends up happening and having our fun as well. So I'm just excited about it all. But the basketball is what I'm most important when I get down there for, just to get to work and start working with my guys for sure.
Wow. You guys were great. I mean, I can already tell you're going to work well together. Obviously, Coach Crean's got that thought out in his mind. And when he recruited and added each piece to the puzzle, he had to take inventory of the types of players that you are. Again, what I'm hearing about chip on shoulder and the desire to get better. I mean, these are the things we hear from Coach Crean in his press conferences every week. So it sounds like you're going to fit into what's really become a hungry program that appears to be on the verge of some pretty special stuff. And if you look at Coach's record, he's done it before at Marquette and Indiana, and a lot of people are thinking it might be this year. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining us here on Dog Nation, and good luck and good health in your travels, and can't wait to see you down here in Athens.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on the Ingles on the Beat show. Before we go, let's take a moment to recognize the good people at Ingles that are helping us get through this COVID-19 pandemic.
It's in our hearts to feel for you. There's been ups and downs, turnarounds, good days and some bad. But we stand together for worse and for better. We'll always have your back. With open arms, heart to heart, hand in hand. Community strong.
Thanks again to Ingles. Hope everyone has a safe and wonderful week.